Hi, it's Sally at Field to Fork here. Isn't spring just an amazing time of year? And with the weather finally warming up, it's great to get outdoors and enjoy all there is to see and do. There's so much colour after the drab grey browns of winter. From the vibrant fresh green leaves on the deciduous trees, to the flowers on the woodland floor and in the hedgerows, and the blossom coming out on the trees. Green leaves are important to plants because it's through them they're able to absorb all this sunlight from the lengthening daylight hours and so make their food that gives them the energy to grow and reproduce. Flowers too are important because it's through the flowers they can ensure they are pollinated and so produce their seeds. Most but not all plants produce flowers. Some, like moss or ferns, reproduce through spores. It is also possible that you don't notice all the flowers on those that do. That's because many trees produce flowers that are small, insignificant and greenish because they're depending on the wind for pollination, not insects. And so their flowers can appear early in the year before there are many insects around, but there's more likelihood of wind and there's no leaves to get in the way. The earliest to flower are the yellow dangling catkins of the hazel, or these reddish purple catkins of the alder growing close to the water. They will shed vast quantities of pollen into the air as they're shaken by the wind, to be caught hopefully by the smaller female catkins that you can see here too, that will later develop into the cones bearing the seeds. As spring progresses, the tall trees of the woods, such as the sycamore or the beech, ash, elm and oak, come into flower. Their height helping the pollen from their dangling green flowers to be flung far and wide, to hopefully get caught on the sticky female flowers on either the same tree or a different one, and so allow fertilization to happen. Other trees, such as blackthorn and rowan and hawthorn, produce colourful and scented blossom or flowers that contain nectar to attract insects to feed on the sweet nutritious liquid. As they visit, the insects brush against the plant's stamens and pick up pollen, which is then brushed off when they visit the next flower, and so fertilization of that flower occurs and the seeds are formed. Trees whose flowers stand upwards tend to be insect pollinated, and these horse chestnut blossoms will turn white and pink. Blossoming trees, such as this cherry, choose to do so as the weather warms to make sure that the insects are out and about and available for pollination. And so each species depends on one another. But the trees don't all flower at the same time, ensuring that there's a constant supply of food for the insects. The catkins on a willow are pollinated by both the wind and insects. So you can see the yellow powdery pollen on these male catkins. The female catkins, on the other hand, are green and downy and sticky, and very often are on different trees. Take a look around your area at the plants and trees. Can you spot those in flower? Do you think they're pollinated by the wind or by insects? If you want to identify the trees from their flowers, you might get a hold of a blossom and catkin ID chart, such as this one from the Woodland Trust. What fallen petals, blossom and catkins can you find around? Can you make a rainbow with them? To do this, you'll need a strip of card with rainbow colours printed on and a double-sided sellotape layer along. Peel back the outer layer to get the stick, so take great care not to touch that as you work. And then go and search for anything of colour that might match any of the colours on your rainbow. And when you find them, see if you can put them on the colour that's as close as possible. And so build up. See if you can find all the different colours. As you do this activity, remember the usual things. Always stay within the boundaries that your teacher sets you to work. And only try and use those things that are lying on the ground that are no longer part of a living plant. So petals and leaves that have fallen, unless there are plenty around and you won't be damaging the species, to choose a little bit. Also take care not to choose anything that's spiky or stingy or poisonous or would harm you in any way. Which colour did you find easiest to find? Which one is there not much of? What does this tell you about what colours of flower attract insects the best? You can now display your rainbow strips side by side to make a big rainbow. Scent is also important at attracting insects to flowers. So here's another activity for you to do. See if you can make your own spring scent by collecting scented flowers and leaves and mashing them together with a little bit of water to make a perfume. I hope you enjoy exploring and learning about our wonderful nature in spring. And if you do, look out for other Field to Fork activities that you can have fun with.